One of the original stars of Broadway's Rent, Anthony Rapp is here in Toronto with his one-man show, Without You, which is all about his rise to stardom. Why did you want to tell your own story?
Years ago, when I was still in Rent, there was a publisher who approached me about writing a book, just any book, and we were talking, and he had lost his father when he was in his 20s, and my mom was in the last months of her life, and he asked if I would consider writing about that. And part of his impetus was that there wasn't any literature that he was aware of that was about young people going through something like that. So as I started working on telling that story, there was no way I could tell that without also talking about Rent, because it all was happening at the same time. And Jonathan's death was also so much a part of what I learned from in that time. So the response that I got far exceeded anything that I would have imagined, you know, because there's always a part of me that's like, are people really gonna be interested? But what we were hoping for and what has happened for a lot of people is that it is kind of held up a mirror to their own experience sometimes, and so they share things back to me, and you know, they say things like it's helped them through situations, and then when we were putting the show together, it was the same kind of thing. We didn't know if it was going to really work as a show, but everybody that we were sharing it with, presenting it to, was saying yes, 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 keep going.
You're used to most of the time hiding behind a character a little bit, or at least being a character up on stage. So did you find you were nervous about kind of exposing yourself up on stage like this?
Years ago, when I first performed one of a song that I'd co-written, that was the most scared I'd ever been performing, because, like you said, I was used to sort of hiding behind other people's material. Not hiding behind, but just presenting other people's material. So if they didn't like the song, it wasn't my fault, you know. But it was the first time I was like, oh, if they don't like the song, then it is kind of my fault. But then as soon as, you know, I started doing that more and more over the years, and then I got used to it. And then, not everyone's going to like everything I do. You know, that's part of the deal.
Was there any feedback from, I mean, family and friends when you're playing this, that they were a little nervous about you telling personal stories that they might either indirectly be a part of a little bit? Or did you care?
Well, when I was writing the book, I mean, there's, you know, a couple people that I thought might not be thrilled with some things, and it's mostly, you know, in sort of extended family, just because, you know, what I found out is that one of my aunts that I never said what I thought was one bad word about her at all, like not even remotely. She was more upset about things I said about other people, kind of thing, and so she was mad at me. I would never have predicted that, you know. But then my uncle was totally supportive, so you just never know. And one of the things my publisher said is when you write a memoir or autobiography or something like that, people will be upset. There just will be people upset.
I'm just going to play this through a couple times so you can feel it. Okay? Now here we go. Here's the tune. And 525,600 minutes.
What advice would you have for up-and-coming actors that are still trying to make it, still trying to get in there? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I mean, if you lined up 20 working actors and we told you our paths to get where we would all have a different path, but I think what we would share, most of us, would be a kind of drive and dedication to becoming better artists. And I think many of us would also have a passion for trying to, you know, a passion for telling stories, for being a part of something that, you know, could have an impact. You know, I think that those are the things that last, and the rest of it is just sort of like day in, day out, ups and downs. You know, if you can stay true and connected to the source of why you wanted to be an artist in the first place, that could help carry you through.